Good afternoon. Welcome to Foys on Facebook. My name is Gina.
I'm Jerry.
And Veronica's over here helping us out, as always. Today we will have a special guest. It will be Quentin Clays from Versele Laga. Before we invite him on, though, we're going to go over a few things that have been going on. The first thing first we're going to announce the auction winners. Since some of you may not know that we did change the auction, it does not end after the show now. It ends at 2 o'clock. So we do have the winners. The English trumpeter winner is Adele.
English carrier.
I'm sorry, English carrier. I typed it wrong on my list. The racing homers is Jose Avidas. So after the show, please give me a call, ask for Gina, and I'll take your card, and then we'll talk about all the details then. You have anything to say about that?
Well, just that whoever bought these two pairs, well, I know who did, you announced it, got some really top quality pigeons. The English carriers are from John Hepner. John Hepner is probably the most well-known pigeon breeder in the United States. He travels the world. He's a world-class judge, and the birds that he has are some of the best you're ever going to find in this country, because he is a master breeder. And if you know what a master breeder is, he's got the best of the best. So Adele bought those, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Adele also bought our Oriental flights. Yeah, the flights from last show. So he got some really good birds. Thank you. And on the racing homers, those come up from a good friend of mine, Tom Erdner. And we have, I think, 2 more pair of his birds coming up in the future. But those racing homers, in fact, they want to breed now, are excellent quality. They've bred winners. They are from winners. So if you're looking for something, if you're just a beginner or want to add quality to your loft, Tom Erdner's birds are great. Done.
I lost my train of thought. Something about the auction. I don't know. We'll get back to it. Anyways, the shipping birds now. We talked about it a little bit last week. Look at me.
I'm just looking at you because you're talking.
We did talk about it a little bit last week, and you can cut the boxes down. Jerry and I have worked on cutting each one, right? All 4 of the boxes down. If you have any questions on that, you can give us a call. But Horizon, who makes the shipping boxes, they are working on some new boxes cut down. The first ones will be out in September. We don't have any details yet, no pricing, but as soon as I find out, we will let you guys know. And then once the first one is released, they'll start working on the second one.
We'll add, in the meantime, I'm sorry, well, with you talking, sometimes it's hard to get in here.
Yeah,
you do all the talking. But on these boxes, Gina and I have cut, like, for instance, I'll give you an example. I shipped 3 orders last week, and before we cut those boxes down, those 3 boxes to ship would have been somewhere around $600. We cut the boxes down. I'm doing this on the air. Maybe we can make a short video to show people how we did it. Yeah. And we reduced the cost because the change with the post office is the size, which we've talked about before. It's not the weight, it's the size of the box. So in cutting them down, I went from almost $700 in shipping to $300 and something in shipping. So in some cases, by cutting them down, there won't be much of a difference in the cost. So we'll probably make a video within the next week, put it on our site to show you how we did it. And kind of interesting, in talking to Horizon, they asked us to make a video for them to see what we've done. So I'd like to think we're cutting edge. Go ahead.
I'm used to it, you always cut me off. Ask them. So you can still submit your questions just like you normally do. whether it has to do with Versele Laga or a pigeon health question. There have been some health issues going around lately, so if you have any questions about that, just ask.
I demand.
So, anything else before we go on to Quentin?
No, let's talk to Quentin.
Okay, so we are going to bring in our guest, Quentin Clays with Versele Laga.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a real honor that I can speak in front of you guys. Also, if there's something not clear or my accent or bad connection or freezing something because I have no interaction with you guys, please let me know and I can say it over again. I can explain it better in my other words or that you understand everything. Okay? Okay. So first, let's start a little bit. Is there a problem? Hello? Hello? Do you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me?
Bring me up.
Hi.
Yeah, we can hear you, Quentin. Just keep going.
Okay. I didn't know. It was like a little bit confusing because I see the messages. Sorry for this.
That's okay. Keep going.
Okay, so when I was so we brushed all the seeds for 3 times. We vacuum it, so we have clean seeds. Because this is very important for raising pigeons that there is no dust on the grains and seeds, because you all know the more dust it has on the grains, it gets thick in the lungs, which of the racing. So let's move on the next slide, and that's explains us our premium racing, the plus label. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So the plus is black label. That's a premium mixer. We don't have anything else that's better or for racing pigeons except of this. What's unique in this mixture is the black corn, and I explain this in the next slides. The black corn is originally from Peru. Can we switch on the next slide, please? Yeah, there we go. So the black corn is originally from Peru, and it's very rich in antioxidants. And we calculate the level of antioxidants by the darkness of the corn. And if you can see it on the graph, I don't know if it's big enough for you guys, but if you can see it on the graph, the black corn is on the top of the graph and has the most percentage of antioxidants. Antioxidants is good for a pigeon because for 5 things. It has muscle protection, it has less muscle damage, more endurance, better recovery, and support the resistance. All those 5 characters are essential for a good racing pigeon. And then more about the Plus range itself. Yeah. More about the Plus range itself. Yeah. Okay. It has an extruded palate, and we call it actually the VAM palette. And VAM is for VAM, and V is for vitamins, A is for amino acids, and M is for minerals. Those are essential for a pigeon, and actually it's a complete mixture. You don't have to give extra vitamins or minerals to it. It's a complete meal. And in the Plus range, we have 11 different grain mixtures. It all depends for which period of the year we are, of what you want to use for it. So we have now that we have 11 different products for it. Then let's go to the main, just the regular grain mixtures. And then we've got the traditional premium black label. It's exactly the same as the black label Plus IC, but without extrudeds. It has the same black corn. We have the same quality. That's the premium gas, just has simply no extrudeds. You can mix it by your own vitamins or supplements. Then the traditional is also a classic grain mixture. And here in the United States, a lot of people like this product because it comes in 55-pound bags. It's very clean as well. The Junior MM is doing great job, and it has 7 different mixtures for every season of the year. Then we've got the classic. We need to have this because it's a budget-friendly mixture. It doesn't mean that it has low quality or lower grain quality. It's just you need to have this on the market because again, we don't accept simply bad corn or bad grains. It's simply a budget-friendly mixture. Are there any questions regarding the feed and the seeds?
I have a couple of comments, but I know that we're sitting in our warehouse doing the show. We had a call from Ohio, and some people. Okay, I got to get closer. Some people are coming on Sunday to pick up a pallet of the feed. So the Versele Laga name is well recognized in the United States. Can we move that over just a little bit?
No.
Okay. And the use of it is growing, and also is the knowledge of how to do these shows is growing. I'm split screen here. But anyway, I just wanted to comment. The racing pigeon people are very aware of Versele Laga. We ship hardly a customer by truck. So the product is well known and really taking off as a feed seller in our store. So I think it's going to get bigger and bigger. It's the feed is brought in bags from Belgium. Or how does all of that work? Are you going to have it here at some point?
Excuse me?
Are you going to have a plant that mixes it here, or will it always come straight?
Currently, we produce already. We just started producing, manufacturing pigeon feed back in Florida and Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still on the Miami market because it's a very, very close and intense market. So we're not planning to ship from Miami to abroad. It's just mainly the Florida area. And currently we work with distributors. For example, you guys, you bring a container in, you start to sell it, and it's all we don't want to have a distributor in because there's just no interest for actually shipping one pallet to the United States. It's really in full containers.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
There is a question, Quentin, from a customer. He was asking, which feed do you recommend for high-flying pigeons?
Okay, this is the same questions that I have here then, okay. I thought it was, so which I recommend the highest for the racing pigeons and during the racing pigeon is the Champion Black Label Plus IC. It has the black corn, which I explained you, with very rich in antioxidants, and it has also the extruded pellets with support extra vitamins, amino acids, and minerals. It's a complete mixture. You don't really need to give extra supplements or vitamins with it. So I recommend strongly this product.
Now, Quentin, I think the gentleman's question is on what he calls high flyers, what we call high flyers, and those are a flying breed, but they're not a racing homer. They're not. They don't fly competitively, other than how long they stay in the air. Some of the high flyers are capable of flying through the night, flying 21, 22 hours without coming down. So I still think the needs, though, would be very similar to what a racing homer would use.
It's a high. They have a high endurance, right?
Yeah. So
again, it's a little bit the same as a racing pigeon. It's not about speed; it's just about time. I guess so.
Mm-hmm. So stamina is very important too.
What? Excuse me.
Stamina.
The ability to fly longer.
Okay. Well, the only sports mixture that we have on the market, and it's not racing. It's because in Europe we do more racing than exactly high flyers, and we consider it as a sport mix. So the Champion, it's still a good solution for it, because it's high endurance for long flights. So that wouldn't change actually my answer for high flyers or racings.
The breeds themselves are primarily from Poland, Serbia, that area. So there are Serbian high flyers and
do they need some extra requirements? For example, what for example?
So
I didn't hear.
Say it again, Quentin.
So what do they need extra, for example, what is the difference between the extra needs from a racing pigeon, so I can see actually what are the needs and then suggest something?
I can send you some information, but basically the whole thought of these is how high they fly. In fact, those who fly them competitively have binoculars because they fly so high, and some of them will fly through the night, and you'll let them go around 5 o'clock in the evening, come down until breakfast time tomorrow. It's pretty amazing, and they do fly competitively. So we can talk more about that. But
yeah, I can provide you an answer on this question. What is the best mixture for high flyers?
I think their needs would be pretty much the same as a racing homer that is going to fly a 300, 400, or 500-mile race. Okay.
So we'll find out some more information for you, Gromus, and we'll get back to you. Gromus.
Oh, is Gromus on the line?
Yeah, he's the one asking the question.
Oh, I didn't know. Gromus is friend. Sometimes.
You froze.
We'll answer some of the questions. We're going to answer a couple questions, Quentin. Hold on.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Adele asked if he said he hopes that you're feeling better.
Well, thank you. I had a bout, but I'm feeling much better.
He was very sick for about a week.
Don't always believe your doctors. I went to the doctor and spent 6 hours in the hospital. They ran every test they could possibly think of as to why I was so sick. And the one that figured it out is my wife. They had switched the medicine, and I had some sort of a reaction to that medicine that just drained me. Once I stopped the medicine, I got better. And the doctors never figured that one out.
So he's back to bugging us.
All right.
We have some other questions. Ryan said, my dad loves Foys, Ryan Barrich, so it must be Tom. Tom Barrich?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ryan. Tom was in here, I think, last week. Bought some stuff.
Any more questions?
Yeah, we got a couple.
What are you laughing at?
Hi, Mark. He asked, can you tell me, are pigeons and doves in the same bird family?
Exactly. A pigeon is a dove, and a dove is a pigeon. No difference.
No difference.
You're welcome, Maria. Glad you got it and that you got it wasn't broke this time. Thank you. Okay, you can go ahead, Quentin. You can
Okay. So let's start again with the supplements. We call it the Columbine, and then the health and care. The name of the range is the Pharma. But let's start with the Columbine, and here we've got the Plus IC corn with the extruded pellets, exactly the same as we added in our Plus IC range. This is just a bag with only the extruded pellets, so you can add it with your grains. We've got 3 different types. We've got the breeding and molting, and guess it's for the breeding periods. It has 25% of protein. Then we also have the racing, and guess what? It's for the racing. It has 90% of protein, and the level of that we have 90% because we don't want to go higher, because it's the same with humans. If you eat too much, if you eat, for example, McDonald's or Wendy's, you have a full stomach and you can't fly faster or better. So we have it at 19%, and then we have the resting corn, and it has a protein level of 13%. So those 3 are our corns, that are only corns that you can add in your grain mixture. Then we've got the grits. The grits with a lot of different types of grits or pigstones, but I will just talk simply about 3 of them. And the first one is the grit plus redstone. It has some shells or some oyster cells, and it's really, really good for it helps for a better digestion, and it's good for solid drops, which can be useful for the pigeon. Also, it's very well taken for the pigeon because it has some anise seed. Sorry for the pronunciation. So this is our grits plus redstone. Then we've got the classic redstone. We strongly advise this to give it for accessible in your pigeon's love. Refresh it daily, because simply the pigeon just love it. But it's also very important that you give them to keep your pigeon away from the fields. You don't want that your pigeon gets spend too much time on the fields. A lot of danger on the ground. And at least we've got the seaweeds. It's very rich in minerals and iodium. And iodium is an essential product for the pigeon. And we strongly advise to use this product during the down molt. So there was the grits. Then we've got some other supplements, and you can see the first one is the Columbine Vita. The Columbine Vita is a really absolutely must-have during the breeding period, because it simply has essential vitamins and minerals, and it's very easy to use. The only thing you have to do is take one tablespoon and 1 pound of feed, and you simply put it on the feed, you give it to the pigeon, make it accessible, and it'll eat it. The other product we have got is the Columbine All-in-One. It's one of our best sellers here, and which make this product so so important and so useful is it has grits, but it also has our VEM or extruded pellet in it. And to make it a little bit more tastier, we added the sneaky mixture. And what is the sneaky mixture? It's a candy for the pigeon. It's a snack. It has good taste, good smell, and they take it super easy. And the last product I would like to talk from the feed supplements is our egg fruits. The optimal start 25, and the 25 is for the percentage of proteins, and it's the egg food, and you know it all better than I do. It's for during the breeding period to give them for the youngsters. Are there more questions for the supplements?
Quentin, I do have a couple of comments. What's developed into one of our better sellers is your product, All-in-One.
Yeah.
And All-in-One, as I understand it, we sell a product called Pigeon Candy. Now, they're not the same, but they are both what we call a treat. Is that correct? It's a treat, and if young ones have a problem with diarrhea or wet droppings, things like that, it will help. But the word's got out somehow, some way, because we're selling so much of it. And so I wanted to know, All-in-One is considered a treat, but what are the other benefits of All-in-One?
So the other benefits of the All-in-One is it's good for the plumage. It's very, very essential for during the plumage. It's very good for digestal, and again, it's a little bit like the redstone and the grits, helps the digestion and an easy take-in of the grains and the absorption of the grains.
Thank you. Go ahead. You were talking. I interrupted you, so you're up again.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, so let's start with my last part of the presentation, and that's the Pharma part. And Pharma is the health and care product, and it's a very complicated part, and I tried to divide it into 6 different parts. And we also have some medicines in it, but I will not talk about it because we don't have access here in the United States. Very difficult to import. So let's start with the Electrolytes. It's a natural product based on salts and minerals. It's very good for as a recuperation after a flight. But it's not only, you can't also use them for other things. For example, the glucose, it's something sweet, it's sugar. And it's very useful when you, for example, your pigeon has to take a medicine. You add it in your drinking water with the medicine. It has a sweet taste. And it's exactly the same as you give, for example, a child a spoon of honey and you put the medicine on it, and it's an easy take-in. So that's the glucose. You can use it for this one. Then we've got the Recoblift. The name speaks for itself. And are there questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Not a question, but a couple of comments. On the electrolytes, one of the things that I think the audience should know, it's so important for flying birds, especially in the warmer weather, whether they're a racing homer, high flyer, or roller or tumbler, because it reduces the possibilities of dehydration. And I know what dehydration will do, because one of the things I've been in the hospital for on a couple of occasions is dehydration, because I wasn't supplementing or drinking enough water. Well, with your flying birds that are really flying on long races, you want to reduce the possibilities of dehydration, and that's one of the more important things. It also, one of the things I found interesting was is all over the country. During a stressful period with the adenovirus or coccidiosis. So it's one of those things that you can use to battle. And before we go, I know we're getting close on time. One of the things I wanted to mention is that pigeon people are overextending the use of antibiotics. We're just using too much of them. And I get so many questions as, what can I do to prevent disease? And one of the things I always tell folks is, you cannot medicate to good health. You just can't do it. If you have an issue, try to find out what the problem is, treat for that problem. So many of the people in the United States use medications they want to clean out their birds, or they want to get ready for the race season, or they want to get ready for the show season. Well, to give medication to get ready is actually not terribly intelligent. I tell people, would you today take some antibiotics? Today, I'm perfectly healthy, but I'm going to take some medicine today so I don't get sick next week. It makes no sense at all.
Exactly.
And I'm so glad to see the growth of companies like Versele Laga in the United States, where we do now have a way to keep your birds healthy, but in a much more natural
way. Keep it natural.
It doesn't work overnight. You've got to get into a program, believe what you read, because there's so much science in this. And these medicines being natural, not medicines, these products being natural make so much more sense.
Yeah, and I'm very glad you pulled this up, because I can explain actually on my next slide, or a little bit farther. It's on slide number 18.
Quentin, we have a question first from a customer about feed.
Sure.
Let me find it real quick. Oh, Thomas asked, he said he would like to use the junior mix for young birds. What are your recommendations?
The junior mix?
Yes.
The junior you mean?
I'm sorry?
The junior mix is already a name of a mix for younger birds.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid I don't understand his question.
You don't have a product called a junior mix, do you?
No, we have junior and junior OM, and that is essential for younger birds. Or we do have the base, plus is the base, and the start. We've got I don't understand his question really well.
Okay, Thomas, if you could just explain to us what you're asking, and then we'll go back to Quentin and ask him.
Yeah, more than happy to answer on this question.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can we talk about the bath salts? Because I find them rather fascinating. We're limited.
Talk about the bath salts.
We're limited in time, but your bath salts, the Versele Laga bath salts, because so many people ask me which one to recommend, and my answer is usually all of the ones we have are effective. But if you read about yours, it softens the feather. But what I find interesting is that in producing a good feather with the bath salts, it actually increases, I don't know if it's a word, but it increases the ability to have the feathers, the wing feathers, fight off, not get as wet. They're water resistant. That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
And a wet wing in flight is going to bring a bird down. So if there's something you can do, any flying bird, it turns the water orange. Is that correct? Which is different than most. In reading it, I thought it said that the water would become orange from using this bath salt. Is that correct?
So you're saying that the water gets orange using the bath salt? Yeah.
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 Because it has some, it has some color and it has some perfume and it has some salt. That's.
I know a lot of people get confused when we say bath salts or salts in any of the product. And we're not talking about table salt. It's a whole different thing. And a lot of people say, well, why don't I just put some salt in my water? It's not table salt.
No, it's not table salt, no.
We
You're
want
welcome.
to time for
I see
questions.
that
No, we're open. All right, I wrote myself some notes, and I just thought maybe we could do that. Do you have something you want to mention?
Well, no, let him finish.
All right,
first.
go ahead. They told me to.
I speak about okay. So the electrolytes. Okay. So yeah, what I said, like for example, the example of Jerry, for dehydration, the glucose well tastes for the water. Then let's move on the vitamins and amino acids. It's essential for the racing pigeon if you give only grains. The plus is Junior. I guess you all know what the Compartment is, but I would like to speak about the Ducovit, and because the Ducovit is something which is useful if your bird gets actually really sick, or when your bird gets sick, and you want to give him like the extra vitamin or the extra step or the extra to get better, and the Ducovit can give this extra boost to recover after illness of a good general condition. Then we also have the B-hole. The B-hole helps to improve the liver function, and it improves the quality of the feather during the molting. I would like to spend more time on it, but let's move on the natural product, because I felt that was actually a really interesting topic. Can we, not this slide, but the next slide? No, one more, the natural products. Yes, there we go. Because exactly what we just brought it up, and that's our biggest concern as well. Because sometimes the love for the pigeon is too big, too high, and we over supplement them and we over take care of them, and that's why we created a line, and we call it the full natural product line, because keep your pigeon as natural as possible, because only the positive effect over long periods. That's a really important sentence to keep in mind. And with this product, with this line, you can't over supplement or you can't do anything wrong. A really good product for this is the Columbine tea. It has over 15 different herbs. You do it in your drinking water, and it promotes the function of liver, the digestion, and it stimulates also the production of new feathers. Another good one is the Bee Pure, and that is for the beer lovers from us. It has some yeasts, and we all know in yeast we have the vitamin B, and it's very rich in amino acids. This product stimulates actually the spirit of the training, the training spirit of the pigeon. So here in this line, you have for every single need a product. And let's move on the next one, the Bed Salve. There's also a product that you brought up. Makes the feathers supple, like clean and strong. Relax the muscle after a flight. It's very relaxing for a pigeon to give this. They really like this. Promotes also the down molt and removes flex from the skin. What is funny about this product as well is the smell. It has a very good smell. And pigeon, it's important to know, and pigeon loves to wash himself. And then the last product I would like to talk about is our care products, and that's the Forma drops. We strongly advise, you can use it before the race or after the race, but I suggest to use it before the race, because actually it's a good test to see if the respiration works. You can clean the eyes. It's and take care of the eyes of this product with this product. Well, that was a little bit more presentation. I'm more than happy to answer the questions that you may have about the Oro-Pharma. I can go in way more in detail, but we have a professional team back in Belgium that knows way more about every single product. And if it's something that I can't ask, I can write it down. I'm in touch with Gina, and I can provide you a good answer for this.
You have any other questions?
No, I think we're fine. I'd like to bring it back again.
Okay. Okay, Quentin, if we have any other questions, I'll be in contact with you. I'll give you a call after it's over. Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you, Quentin. We learned a lot, and we'll learn some more. We'll bring you back. Only next time we'd like to see you maybe in a tuxedo with a tie, maybe a top hat, like the.
Sure, I will. I will do this.
Thank you, Quentin. Bye now.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.
Okay, I thought that was interesting. And we learned too, because the Versele Laga line is fairly new. It's been with us for about a year now, doing very, very well. So we appreciated Quentin taking the time. This feed is brought all the way over from Belgium, Belgium. And for some people, it's important to know that they're in 44-pound bags, because all of us who are getting a little older, it's easier to pick up 44 pounds than it is 50 or 55 pounds. So they're smaller bags, and they're just amazingly clean. You're looking for, there's absolutely no dust. So if you're looking for a great feed, we certainly do recommend Versele Laga. If you're looking for a health program, Versele Laga. I wanted, go ahead.
I wanted to answer David's question real quick. He asked if all of the products were going to be in our new catalog. Well, we do not carry all of Versele Laga feeds because they have a lot of feed. Mm-hmm. Right now, we carry 6 of their feeds. We do sell a lot of their other products, but as for the feed, it's only 6 different feeds right now. Because when we import it, we have to import a full pallet of each feed. So that is 60 bags, I believe, per pallet. Mm-hmm. We do have customers that ask for a bag of this, a bag of that, but we cannot import single bags. So
yes, with a full container, 40-footer, you're talking 10 pallets. 10 pallets, if there's, that's 400 to 500 bags of feed. And we want to keep our feed fresh so we don't overstock. Even we might be able to get a better price. We bring it in. But as far as Dave, and I'm talking shop on the air, I'll ask Gina, if they're willing to wait and they want a pallet of a particular mix, we could bring it in on our next load. There had to be a prepayment of some sort for us to bring it in, but we'd be more than willing to work with you. We just can't order pallets that are 6 of that, 10 of that. Right. We have to order a whole pallet of each particular one.
Right. But as the product line gets bigger and more people want it and use it, mm-hmm. then we could possibly bring in a bigger variety of the feed from Versele Laga. As you know, we do still carry the pure grain feed and Versele Laga. So if you have any questions as to what we do carry, it's on our website, or feel free to give us a call. Anybody can answer. It doesn't have to just be me. It can be anybody in the shop that can answer the question.
Yeah, but you're just so smart.
Anyways.
Oh, I was going to share a comment with you. I was here this afternoon and told me, I just got in a little while ago, and they told me I had to move my truck because they had a big truck coming. So when the big truck came, I found it interesting that this had to be at least a 40 or 50 foot long truck, mm-hmm. backs in, and the driver jumps out of the cab, and it's a woman, and there's a forklift waiting to unload the big truck that's driven by the lady, and it's a lady driving the forklift. So the world is changing for the better. For the better.
Of course.
Okay.
We had a company that we order stuff from. He hand delivered some product to me yesterday, and he wanted to see our new building. And I brought him out to the warehouse and showed him, and he complimented how clean and neat and organized that the warehouse was. And I said, it's all women that work here.
Yeah, I've shared with you before, now that I'm retired. Well, I'm snorting when I laugh. But anyway, we're a complete female company. I'm still in the back works for us in the, and ladies have to pick up those single bags and 2 bags of feed and put them into people's trunks too, and they do it. Okay. Do you have a particular thing you want to mention?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to mention, I was going to ship birds last Tuesday, and when I was gathering the young birds, I still sell white racing homers, rollers, and young racing homers. Well, a gentleman, I had mentioned a racing homer to him, a young one that was as deep red as you can imagine, almost brown, but it was a deep red. And he wanted that bird very badly. So on Tuesday morning, I caught it and was going to put it in a basket to put into a box, ship it. And here it had a one-eyed colt. And I called him and I said, I picked this bird up, body weight, everything is good, but you can see it has either ornithosis or mycoplasmosis because it was rubbing its eye on the side feathers, and the side feathers were all wet, and the eye was almost dripping wet. So I told him I'd rather not ship it. So I kept it back, and I gave it Spiridox tablets, 1 full Spiridox tablet, and I'm going to do it for 7 days. But I went back the next day on Wednesday, and the one-eye cold was completely gone. You wouldn't even know it had it. I'm going to continue for 7 days, but it was pretty amazing to me. When you have a weeping eye, that's almost always ornithosis or mycoplasmosis, and Spiridox really does the job.
And the important thing is to continue the treatment. A lot of people, if they see after that first or second day that the bird looks better, they're going to stop. You have to continue for the treatment of the medication.
The whole 7 days. Too many people do see
Right.
results and stop and shouldn't do that.
Right. Next. Don't forget your Ask Anything questions. Ask anything but pigeon questions. Hi, Arthur. Somebody said hi. I don't know if you can see the comments.
No, I can't see it.
Oh, okay. Ask anything. Also, I wanted to remind you that if there's anything you would like us to do a future show about, all you have to do is post it or give Jerry or myself a call, and we'll be more than happy to show you any product live or talk about anything that you'd like us to talk about. Even if it's something we talked about before, we can always bring it back and talk about it again.
And to reiterate the new ground rules for the auction is it's a little different now. That's why you don't see the birds. I bring the birds in, try to bring them in on a Monday, sometimes Tuesday, but I bring them in from my lofts. Veronica takes the pictures and posts them on Facebook. So if you're interested in those birds, they're on Facebook, and the minimum bids. The auction then goes from that Monday to Friday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's no bidding while we're on the air. The auction is over. The English carriers are gone. Beautiful pair of racing homers from Tom are gone. And next show, we'll have some more birds, some really good ones. I've been talking to people all over the United States, and our show is creating a buzz, so to speak. And people are realizing they're having an opportunity to buy some really top quality pigeons, racing homers and fancies, and usually the bidding starts around $100. But like that pair of English carriers that John Hepner donated, and we do this in the winter time, we take our show on the road, so to speak, and we have auctions at these shows where people can actually look at the bird and handle them if they want. That pair would have sold for over $300 at a Grand National or Louisville or somewhere like that. So for some people who aren't used to buying top quality birds, if you can buy a top quality bird that you can raise some good show birds, to buy them for $100 is a heck of an opportunity. And then you're giving back to the hobby in that all the money we raise is invested, and the earned income from that investment then goes to help people who are in the hobby who have issues or problems that it might take a little bit of financial help, and there's a whole method to go through that. So thank you, and if you want to donate birds, please contact me.
And for the auction, if you're going to bid, please make sure you intend to purchase the birds if you place a bid. We've had people who won the bids and have not called to pay for them. We've had people who placed bids and the and tend to buy the birds?
By not buying, or not by bidding and not buying, you're taking it away from the person who really wanted those birds. You might have went $10 or $20 more than him, and then the poor guy doesn't get the birds, and what do you do but create a problem? So if you're not going to buy the birds, don't bid on them.
Yep. We have a question from William. Is there any meds safe when breeding?
Yes. When you say meds, the one that I recommend would be amoxicillin. Amoxicillin is a true antibiotic, and it does not have any long-term effects. You can use it during the breeding season, when you've got young, just about any time. And being a broad-spectrum antibiotic, it treats a lot of different things. The other one, people think of it as an antibiotic, but 3-in-1 is canker, coccidiosis, and worms. Those are all protozoa, so sure, you can use 3-in-1 during and after and before the breeding season.
Dave, we had 2 different pairs this week for the auction. There was also a pair of racing homers. We have a question from Tom. What's your opinion about moxidectin for external parasites?
I'm thinking,
Moxidectin gel.
Moxidectin is generally speaking put in the drinking water. So it would have absolutely no effect on feather lice or exterior. I would think probably not. It's for internal parasites, generally speaking, worms. Some people put it in their bath water, not that way if the birds drink it, but you would want to mix it with other things. So it's a complicated subject or question. I would say amoxicillin is perfectly safe, as I said before, but moxidectin, I see no reason, I see nowhere that it would do harm unless you try to combine it with other things. And I don't think it'd be terribly effective on exterior parasites.
I was just looking it up on the site.
Okay. This is the time of the year most of us in the United States would be thinking about separating our birds. As most of you know, I use floor covering on all of my lofts, and what I'm doing now is section by section. I'm cleaning everything out. I'm removing, in some cases, removing perches because I don't need them in that section anymore. So I scrape the floor. I throw all of the floor covering that is old, and I throw it into my garden because it's all it is clay and pigeon dropping. So I clean it, and then I put 3 inches or so of floor covering down. I do every loft. When I get 2 sections done, one section immediately becomes for cocks, the other section becomes for hens. So I'm in the process now of separating all of my birds. You should do it too. Everybody kind of thinks of themselves, maybe I'll get one more round, and that'll be a winner. But what you're going to find out is the longer you breed, the more susceptible your birds are to illness. And so what you should do is decide 4 rounds. You're pushing it after you get past 4. You think of it as a great deal because now you're getting free pigeons, but you're also playing Russian roulette in that one more round may create sickness because breeding is very stressful. So if you haven't done in the past, make an attempt to clean your lofts out and then separate your hens and cocks. I got a call from someone who was telling me he leaves his product down for 1 solid year. I do it every 6 months. He leaves his flooring down, and all he does is goes in, he said, on a regular basis, he rakes all the droppings out under the perches and so forth, rakes them, and they're perfectly fine. So if you're looking for a way to have a healthier loft, the floor covering is a great product. It keeps the loft dry, keeps it smelling well. It has an anti-coccidia in it, so it's a great product to have on the floor. And Vicky, one of our customers who is here today, what she does is she buys it and she puts it in her nest bowls. So antitoxic and absorbing agents. You know that the nest bowls get nasty, so this absorb it. And she does it because in the past she's had problems with splayed legs, where the nest bowls would slip, the legs would slip out, and she'd have to put the bird down because once it grows, within 24 hours you can't straighten it out. So good part. I went off on a tangent, didn't I? Known for that.
A little bit. I also wanted to remind you that show season is coming up. Our first show is in September. So just keep in mind if there's any big, bulky, or heavy items that you want, call us ahead of time. You do have to prepay for it, but we will bring it to the show for you, which means that you save money on shipping.
No shipping costs at all.
Right.
And our first show is Fremont, Ohio.
Fremont in September.
And in October,
yeah.
I'll shut up. Go ahead, Jim.
So a lot of the products that people like us to bring are the 8-compartment breeder units. We do have 2 different styles. The aluminum, right? Aluminum. I believe I only have 4 left in stock. So if you want those, you need to get on those quick. But the other ones, I don't have them in stock right now, but they'll be in stock within a month. We're expecting the container. We will have those for show season. And we also have coming the plastic nesting boxes that we've been out of for so long. People love those, so those will be back in stock before show season.
We've got 300 of them coming.
Plus.
It's more than 300. Sounds like an awful lot, but
yeah,
they do go fast.
Quick, yeah.
I use them in my loft, and I love them. There's nothing about them.
Also, we did get the bands in. We've been out of the Easy Lock bands, size 8, the just colors, for quite a while, but we did get them in last week, I believe. So if you're looking for the bands, they are back in stock finally. We do have 2 more containers coming. I believe they'll both be in before show season. Another product that everybody's been waiting on is some of the heaters. Those will definitely be back also.
We have a container. So far this year, we've brought a container in, or 2 from Belgium. We're bringing in 1 from Poland. We're bringing 1 in from Taiwan and Belgium.
We've had a couple from Belgium,
yeah. So we thank you because you keep creating problems for us. We think we normally order 100, so we order 125. We should have ordered 150. So business has been very good because of you, and we really do appreciate it.
So, anything else?
No. If there are no more questions, because this show really is geared for questions, and if you have a question, don't be afraid to send it in to us. We don't necessarily give you first and last name, but your question is probably something on other fanciers' minds. By sending in questions, it makes the show that much better. Well, we've been doing this we're into our 2nd year. We've really been adding up. Yeah. And as Gina has mentioned before, if you want to see past shows, what do?
All you do is post a comment or call in and ask us.
And all of our shows are on the site. You can go to any of our shows, get yourself a cold beer, put your feet up, watch show after show after show, and you can catch up. All it'll take would be about 40 hours. Maybe I want to take a vacation. We've been doing it a good while. We have so much fun doing it. I think you can see that we enjoy doing it, but you're the ones that make the show work by asking questions, making comments, and I'm surprised nobody wanted to ask anything, because usually the questions come in asking about Gina, but once in a while they ask about me.
So our next show will be Friday, August 8th.
Okay.
And once again, if you have any questions, if you want to see any product, just ask us and we'll be more than happy to show it to you. So until then.
I'm looking, the UPS is backing up. Whoa. They're picking up our load. Until then, so long for a while.
Have a great weekend.